Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me put it on now.
Well, at the time, I didn't think much about it. But when I got home to Los Angeles and I began to get active in the community, the year was 1961. I went to work for a newspaper called the California Eagle in 1962. By 1963, I was working for the Los Angeles Sentinel. And what was going on about that time here in Los Angeles was a kind of an awakening as a result of the civil rights movement and the desire of our people here in Los Angeles to have us represented in government at all levels. At the time, there was one African American in the state legislature. His name was Augustus Hawkins. But in 1962-63, the pressure was such that there was a movement of people to elect two and have appointed one Negroes, black people, us, to the Los Angeles City Council. That was Tom Bradley in the 10th Council District, Billy Mills in the 8th District. These were election victories. And then Gilbert Lindsay in the 9th District was an appointee. Because I was active as a student with the CORE, the Congress of Racial Equality, and the Freedom Rider, I was welcomed into these civic activities, into these political activities, and I enjoyed it very much. And ultimately, I went to work in 1964 for one of those council people, Billy Mills. When he was named judge in 1974, and there was an election to replace him on the city council, I won that race. So from 1974 to 1961 to 1991, I was a member of the city council, and it all had its beginnings right here in this civil rights activity, this ball meeting right there. Went from being a college graduate with one kind of thought about what he wanted to do in life to someone else who became a politician, an elected official.
Did you get beaten as a child?
Beaten as a child? What do you mean when you ask that question?
Like when you went out to places to keep get like segregated and beaten?
No. And that was a result of people who loved me, my parents and my grandparents, basically saying, when I was about your age, I love you very much, but here are the rules. As we're living in New Orleans, and this is a segregated place, that means you have to stay with our people because white people do things differently. Once you leave home and once you leave the neighborhood, you must be careful. Here are the things you must do. For example, before we go downtown to go shopping or anything like that, we want to make sure that you go to the toilet so that you don't have the urge downtown because there may not be a place for colored boys and girls to go. Before we go downtown, we want to make sure that you have a snack because we don't want you to get hungry downtown because if you get hungry and you want to have something and while we're in the department store you might want to go get a snack, probably there won't be a place for you to sit down. And we don't want you to go stand in the back or outside where colored people have to stand. We don't have to eat at those places that treat us rewarding. So what happened is that for my generation, people your age, our beloveds took care of us by just advising us on how to conduct ourselves so that we did not have problems dealing with black people. For example, had you gone to the store you saw this nice outfit that you have on now, and you wanted to have it, she would have to buy it for you without you touching it, feeling it, trying it on. You could buy things, but you had to then take it. But you couldn't put it on. You could not try on the hat. You could not try on the shoes.